started with a 7 by 9 inch pincher frame. I removed the backing and I removed the glass. Then I cut out a piece of paper in the shape of an egg and I taped it to the back of the glass. Then I flipped it over and I took clear Elmer's glue and I put it around the perimeter of the egg. Then I took a 4mm rhinestone chain and put it on top of the Elmer's glue. And everything I use in this video I will link under the description. And after I cut it, I used a little toothpick to kind of shape it so that it was in the correct shape. Then I took the 4mm rhinestone chain again and I cut it into sections of 6 crystals each and then placed them in the center of the egg. And I did this before I put any Elmer's glue on that because I wasn't exactly sure where it was going to end up. And then what I did was I took the Elmer's glue and I put it over it to hold it in place. And these rhinestone crystals, the brand that I buy on Amazon, you can pour resin, Mod Podge, clear Elmer's glue over it and it will not take away the iridescent or sparkly qualities at all. So this needs to sit and dry for a couple of hours. And then once that had dried for a couple hours, I took the clear Elmer's glue one more time and I put it around or on top of the perimeter of the egg. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm creating a border. The Mod Podge that I put on this, I want to stay within the egg. I do not want it to leak out and go over onto the sides of the glass. I'm going to be doing this 2 different ways. So this has to dry for a good 2-3 hours to make sure it's good and dry. And then after it was totally dry, I took my gloss Mod Podge and used 1 part Mod Podge and 1 part water and mixed them together. Then I took my 3 different colors of glass. This glass I had spray painted with the Tamaya translucent spray paints in 3 different colors. And the glass that I'm using is the Ashland decorative filler from Michaels. It's the reflective glass that they always have up there. It's kind of like a mirrored glass. And they always have that, and you can dye them different colors with either using alcohol inks or the different translucent spray paints. And I do have several videos out on the different translucent spray paints to dye glass with. Started spooning the Mod Podge over it. Now you do need to saturate it all, but you don't want to go crazy because you do not want it to leak over the top. So just start with a little bit at a time and make sure everything's covered. Then I took it and set it aside to dry. Next, I started setting up for the second egg, and I did put paper towel down, and then I put the little cups down to set it up on it because you don't want the Mod Podge to, this Mod Podge is going to go over the sides of the glass, and you do not want it to stick to the protective paper. So after I had it set up on the little cups, I went ahead and did the same thing and put the glass on top. And again, everything's dry, but this time I did not put the Elmer's glue border on it because I'm going to have the Mod Podge run out from under it and we're going to put some glitter on the glass. So this time I just really saturated it and see how it runs right out automatically because the border is not on there. So I let this sit for about 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, I came back with my little sponge brush. I feel like these work the best. And I just started kind of brushing it and, tipping it and letting the glue run out. And you can see here I added a little more glass. And if you do add more glass, you do have to put a little more Mod Podge on top of it to make sure the Mod Podge is touching all of the glass. And here I'm just spreading it out, and I did tipped it and let it leak out. Then I went and I got a wet wipe and I took it and I wiped underneath because the Mod Podge does drip underneath. That's the Only problem with it, kind of like how resin does. I guess you could put a piece of tape under it like we do with resin, the painter's tape. But anyway, I wiped that up real good, and then I took the glitter. I took some iridescent glitter and just sprinkled it over all of the wet Mod Podge that surrounded the egg. Next, after they were both completely dry, I put them in the frames. And what I did was I took Elmer's glue and put it around the perimeter of the back of the frame where the glass would sit. And then I just flipped it over and set it in there to dry overnight. It needs to at least dry overnight, sometimes up to 24 hours, depending on how much glue you use. And this will simply hold the glass in place. And then here's the second one I'm putting in, and I let it dry overnight. Hey everyone, so here's the two Easter eggs that I did with Mod Podge. And they're pretty much identical, except for you can see the glitter on that. And this, of course, I let the Mod Podge. I didn't do the Elmer's glue glitter, the Elmer's glue border on it. So the Mod Podge seeped out and went around, and then you just have to let it sit for a while and brush it all out. And then, because it makes the glass kind of foggy then, I think it looks prettier if you put the glitter on it after. And then this one, I did the border so that it couldn't seep out as long as you don't put it too deep. And for both of these, after I had put the Mod Podge on, I came back and the Mod Podge had kind of moved the glass around a little bit because this glass isn't real thick on here. So I did end up putting on both of them in a couple of spots the next day, a little bit more glass, and then I had to put Mod Podge on it again. So if you miss a spot and see it the next day, it's not the end of the world. You can just put a little bit more glass on it and just make sure that the Mod Podge goes over that area. And so this is the one with the glitter that had more Mod Podge. And the back of it is dry, you can see. But this honestly took about 3 days to dry, and you'll be able to see after the first day that it looks still white on the back. And this one, because I guess I didn't put as much, this one actually dried. The next day it was pretty much dry. It looked dry to me. But anyway, I think they both turned out cute, and you can do it. So you can do this with Mod Podge. I'm going to put it down a little bit, and I'm going to show you how this is. Hopefully nothing falls off. But the glass is on. One little piece of glass fell there. But the glass is really on there good. Just to show you. Whoop, dropped it. Yeah, so the glass is really on there good. And I think it works fine. It looks pretty if you don't want to mess around with resin, Mod Podge. And I even questioned whether you couldn't just cover it with the clear Elmer's glue too. So that's another thing to try. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new. If you liked it, please hit the like button, the thumbs up button. It really helps the channel. And if you want to be notified of future videos or just like the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for watching.